Good afternoon, folks. Glad to see a fairly good turnout for it being an early meeting. I call to order this Law Enforcement, Public Safety, Health, and Welfare Committee meeting. Today is May the 19th, 2026. It is 4:31 p.m. And let's have a moment of silence, please. Mr. James, would you lead us in our invocation, please? Sure.
Let's pray. Father, as we come to you this evening, Lord, once again to look at county business, Lord, we just confess that we need your wisdom, we need your guidance. And Lord, we just pray that you guide our steps through this meeting. Lord, all this we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Stewart Jones, would you lead us in our pledge?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Before we actually get into the agenda, I failed to say, normally we would have Mr. Glenn Hart here today, but he's not here with us today. I think he is on vacation. So it's me and Mr. James. I need a motion to approve the minutes from February the 17th, 2026, regular meeting minutes.
So move.
And I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll get into the meat of the discussion today. First topic on discussion today is regarding the Oconee County noise ordinance. And I'll lead into that. We've had a host of folks from the public come up to council and describe some, I'll call nuisances, loud noises, fireworks, gunfire, frat parties, just a whole litany of things that are disturbing some of the public, especially in some closely knitted neighborhoods. So I got in discussion with the sheriff. We've been trying to put our hands around this. So we have been in conversations with Clemson University, which the reason we got in conversation with them is because of frat parties. They're working with us. They're going to collaborate with us and see if we can't meet some happy ground between the two of us, and also allow the young folks over at Clemson University to carry on and experience that Clemson life and frat parties. So, but the biggest complaint is the noises. So the sheriff got with Greenville County and Greenville City. We've got a copy of their ordinance. We want to see what theirs look like. They're very similar. There are some differences. Our attorney, Mr. Chumley, here has looked at it. We intend to make some revisions to it and see if we can't sort of tighten it up a little bit, and maybe can put a stop to some of the complaints and let folks have peace in their neighborhoods. So, read through it last night. I had plenty of time on my hands. I'm working night shift up at the nuclear station during an outage. And I had a little bit of time on my hands, so I went through it and looked at it. And I'll just say one of the changes, and we're gonna, Mr. Chumley will look at it from a legality standpoint, but we're looking at dropping the decibel levels during certain periods of time and during the daylight hours and nighttime hours, and make them a little more restrictive. And also look at where the noise readings will be read from. There's a little difference in the Greenville County ordinance and our ordinance as to where the deputies or law enforcement has to take the readings from. It's very similar as far as penalties go. I don't think there'll be a lot of changes in that. And other than that, I read on through, there's several other sections in here on litter, smoking in the building up here on property, that none of that will be changed. We may take a look at litter control just to make sure it's still in good shape. But most of the changes will be under the noise ordinance. That's really about all I need. Just wanted to bring it forward, let everybody know that we're working on it. I've had a lot of constituents reach out to me. They get the impression that we're not doing anything moving forward with it. But we are moving forward with it. We are going to tighten it up and to make it a lot better for the citizens. So, Mr. Chumley, do you have any comments after reviewing that ordinance?
No, sir, not at this time.
Mr. Stewart?
Mr. Chairman, other than just to say, I mean, we had some productive meetings with the sheriff, Clinton and Clemson, on this topic, and I know Mr. Mize has been leading the way on this issue with all the complaints and everything that we've had, dealing specifically with this. So I'm hoping this will help us address it moving forward and really take care of the problem.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. And like I said, we'll be moving forward this ordinance revision, and then it will come back to council for approval. Next on the agenda is a Rescue Squad Advisory Commission update, and that's from Commission Vice Chair Steve Zahn.
Thank you. Chairman Land regrets that he couldn't be here, but he's out of the country. I would just like to cover a few things to bring you up to date on what the Rescue Squad Commission is doing. Some of the key things we're working on is revising the Rescue Squad Standard Operating Guidelines. We're continuing discussion regarding volunteer incentives and the budget considerations, ongoing coordination with Oconee County Emergency Services regarding responder software, training, scheduling, apparatus, and operational concerns. The radio communication system is a big project that we're working on. Coordination for countywide training for EMT, EMR refresher classes, hazmat, specialty rescue programs, continued discussions with volunteer recruitment, retention, and operational readiness. Some of the highlights are coordination with military aviation partners for special rescue operations, for personnel using helicopters and hoist operations within the county, continued apparatus improvements and fleet replacements, volunteer recruitment and retention. We recently had concerns from a rescue squad, wanted us to look at the approval of a rescue chief, and in executive session reviewed this person's prerequisites, and the commission found that they did not meet the guidelines set forth in the county requirements for approval for that position as chief. So the director, Scott Smith, temporarily appointed a leadership for that organization, and we intend to vote at our meeting next week to permanently put this person in that position. Radio system has been a big problem over the years. We would like to recommend that a survey be conducted by an independent firm not affiliated with any radio manufacturer, and that the county consider issuing a request for proposal for such a study. Over the years, we've tried to make improvements of the system, but we need some professional guideline. We've been working on rescue squad funding and budget considerations. We think possibly a volunteer coordinator might be a good answer to help us with seeking funding for different projects, including retention and recruitment. Things that we're going to continue to work on is keeping the standard operating guidelines up to date, volunteer recruitment, county rescue communications, coordination with countywide training opportunities, review commission reporting process, and continued discussion with rescue squads on operational concerns and leadership procedures. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to add one thing and let it be known. I'm sort of leading an initiative to resurrect the firefighter, firefighter training down at the Hamilton Career Center. Been working with the school district, Mr. Andy Smith, the new superintendent. I don't have a lot of the details, but he is on board with that. Everybody's on board with that to resurrect that program again and get it going. So, and we have budgeted money for that coming up. So hopefully we can get that into next year's curriculum.
I want to say on the radio system, Mr. Chair, I think that's something we have to prioritize, and we may have to get, I've already talked to a couple people from our state delegation. Hopefully we could get some help with that around here, but I think that's one of the biggest issues that we've got as far as emergency services right now, and it's a safety issue, and I think that's something that we've really got to, if we need to get a study done or whatever we need to do, we need to get that corrected as fast as we can. So.
Any other comment? Thank you, Mr. James. Next on the agenda item list is a emergency services update, and that's Chief Richie Caudill, the director.
Hey, everybody. Thank y'all. 10 days here today. I think it's 10 days. So bear with me because it's been, I told them we've been averaging about 3 meetings a day for 10 days. Do the math. That's a lot of meetings. I don't think I've been to that many in my 44 years of fire service, but it's been good. All the meetings have been informative. Everything's been really good. Getting to meet some people I haven't had a chance to sit down and talk to, so it's been a lot of fun. One of the things I want to talk about just tonight is some of the things that are going on. I'm not going to overpower everybody, 10 days in, but 5 new tankers have been delivered. We got one more, Tanker 11, that's currently sitting in Westminster being loaded. We're going to load hose on it this week and have it ready to go. Been working on a new organizational chart. Some people have asked about that. Majority of what's changed has been kind of more on the emergency management side of some different things. We're working on getting that done, and then it'll go to the administration for approval. And then once that's done, if they're okay with that, then it'll get released out to everybody. But we're working on that now currently. As most people know, we've been looking at some regional station concepts of what can we do with personnel. How do we do that and make it better for everybody in the county? Some of the things with that is how do we staff it, how do we man it, how do we pay for it, and so we're looking at all kind of different models right now, how that would work. I passed out something earlier, and it is kind of disturbing. They've kept a good running order of how many people have left this county in the last 15 years. I don't mind showing y'all, but we're almost 200 names of people that have left this county in the last 15 years that we have had to pay for, not only with fire gear, with training and everything else. We got to stop that bleeding. We got to figure out how to fix that. And part of that comes back to how do we staff these stations? Do we give them a better environment to work in? Why did they leave? You know, we got to look at all kind of different things. And again, the only way we're going to keep long-term employees is to figure out what can we do to make it better for everybody. I think that that's a huge cost that's been incurred by the county over the last 15 or 18 years, and I think we need to figure out what can we do to make it better. And I don't mean me, I mean all of us. Everybody in this room that's part of emergency services has to play a role in that. These are folks that, and I'm gonna say this, we're one of the few groups, there's a number of different ones, but we're one of the few groups that gets up and go out to fires, and we'll lay our life down for a total stranger. Some folks in this room remember 9/11. I was one of them. I got recalled on 9/11 to go back in and cover a Department of Defense site for a week and didn't come back home after 9/11. We lost 343 firefighters that day. I didn't really know any of them, but I can tell you what, it was just like family. Everybody that got killed that day was part of our family. And what we got to get back here in this fire service is family. And I don't know how we're going to do that yet, but we're going to do it. We're going to figure out how to get it back. Between the volunteer staff and the paid staff, we got to get family back. And I think that's where we have failed at in the past. And we're going to get that done. We're going to figure out how to make that work, and we're going to get that back. We got to get back family. We got to have family back. No matter who gets killed in the fire service, we all feel it because that's what it's about. It's about this family. And that's what I want to see us get back to. And we're going to work on it. We're going to start working together. I'm working really good with a couple of the fire chiefs right now on some projects that they've asked about. And I was like, well, it's right there. Let's fix it. So, you know, we're already working on some projects. One for Chief Wilkinson right now. He asked me about something a week ago. I found it sitting in the boneyard at Motor Pool. And I said, let's put it together and make it work. So we're working on that now to help him with the interstate. So little things like that, you know, may not mean much to somebody, but it may mean a lot to Chief Wilkinson. So, you know, we're trying to get that done to where we can make it better. Staffing, I want to let y'all know about some staffing. Currently, we have 22 people that work for the county full-time that have less than 2 years' experience. We have 22 people that are working full-time that have less than 4 years' experience. We have 5 people that have been here between 5 and 10 years, and we have 4 people that have been here 10 years or more. This is a very young fire department. That goes back to staffing and how do we staff and how do we make it safe for all of those people that are in these fire stations. I wouldn't want to put my child in a fire station with no experience, and y'all wouldn't want me to put your child in a fire station with no experience. So we got to figure out how do we get them what they need, how do we put them in a safe environment, and how do we respond to calls and do it correctly for everybody in this community. And we're going to work on that. We're going to make it work. But out of these folks, I want to see some of these same folks here a year from today. I want to make sure that when I give you these numbers have gone up and we're not still rotating people in and out of this fire service. And that's what I want to see us do. Mr. Zahn covered radio issues. I know they've been an issue. I've been here 18 years. They've been an issue for 18 years. Sheriff Crenshaw, I've met with him. We've talked briefly on a lot of this stuff. I know we're looking at different things we can work on. There's a bunch of different ways we can go about doing the radio system, but whatever we do, whatever we get funded, however direction we go, we got to make sure it's interoperable for us and the Sheriff's Department, and it's got to work everywhere. It can't not work everywhere. That's going to be the one place that if it doesn't work, we're going to need it. So I know that we're working on that together. We've had a couple of good talks. And again, it comes down to funding. What can we do? What can our state do for us as far as sitting down with our representatives and maybe getting that funded? But I would love to see us in the near future get this radio system resolved. I know it's been patched for a number of years, so I don't know if patching it's the right direction to go. I think we need to fix the system completely and make sure it's safe for everybody. So I know we're already working on that. Steve, I appreciate you bringing that up because I know that's something else. One of the other things we're working on currently to get back into service is the fire safety house. Went out today to Camp Road, looked at it. Generator needs to be redone. I'm getting it moved back to Motor Pool to get that generator revamped. And Chief Wilkinson's been good enough to say that when I get everything done to bring it to him, he would work on getting that back cleaned up and ready to go. And I want some of the fire service people to take advantage of that, and let's get it back into the schools, and let's start getting some fire safety stuff done back into the school system. So we got the trailer, we got the folks. I want to get that kind of done. But that's kind of where I was at with some of that. I just wanted to kind of touch base a little bit on it. I'm working every day on different stuff, trying to meet with folks, trying to sit down with them and meet some of the folks that work for the service. Some of them I haven't met yet because I haven't had time between meetings, but we're gonna get out there and we're gonna have a good time with it. I'm going to the rescue meeting this week, Thursday night, I think. I'm going to the rescue meeting Thursday night. Hope they have good food, because I've eaten out a lot lately because of not coming home, so I'm hoping for some good food. But we're gonna have a good time. We were just talking about doing some dive training, at the lake, and we're gonna have a good time with that too. So we're gonna be doing some good stuff in the future. But like I said, it's been a whirlwind 10 days. It has been wide open. I haven't been home a lot. I still only have one white shirt and I'm washing it about every day, and it won't be long before the patches fall off of it. But we are working hard to get some stuff done. But I'm excited. It's been good. I mean, we're looking at some really good stuff in the future, and I'm hoping that we're gonna do really well together. I think it's gonna be I see some bright things, and we just gotta do it. Like I told them a little while ago, if we don't do it together, it's not gonna succeed. I told some of them in a meeting before, we succeed together or we fail together. But it ain't gonna be on one person's shoulders. We're gonna do this together. It's a unified group, and we're gonna make sure we get this family back into it, and we're gonna make this thing work. We're gonna make it work. Whatever we decide to do with staffing and where we put them at, it's gonna be better for everybody. However we decide to work with the volunteer chiefs to get them some people in their stations, it's gonna work for everybody. We're gonna make sure the citizens of Oconee are took care of. So, and then whatever we do, we're gonna do it together. So, but I appreciate it tonight. Thank y'all for letting me come and talk. And like I say, I see good things coming down the road. Gonna take a little while, but we're gonna get there, more than 10 days, we're gonna get there. So, but thank y'all.
What was you call the firehouse thing that you using in the schools?
We have a fire safety house.
Fire safety house?
Yes, we have a fire safety house that's currently at Camp Road that has not been utilized in, Larry helped me with that, a number of years. Probably. And so I went in it today, it's ready to, it needs a little bit of updating and some work, but it was bought on a grant from the county years ago. Larry played a role in that, and I think that we need to get it back into the school system even Larry said that he saw a decline in some of the things that went on in the county when it was out in the school system with the kids. So I want to get that back into the system, and I'm going to lean on the volunteers to help do some of that, because years ago, I remember that there was all volunteers that would take it to the schools, and they would do that with the kids during the day, when it was, especially during Fire Prevention Week. And we need to get some of those folks back to doing that. It needs to lean on that volunteer side to help get that in their schools and their fire districts. We have a ton of schools in this county and daycares that could take advantage of that. So we're gonna work on really working to get that back in the system.
That interests me, because that should help play into possibly later on down the road feeding the curriculum down at the Hamilton Career Center.
Yes, sir.
And we need that desperately, so.
Well, we have a lot of things at the end of our fingertips. We gotta go out there and get it and work hard on getting it back in there. And I think we're on the right track right now. And
I would
like I
ask.
said, Chief Wilkes has been straight up wanting to help with that, and I'm putting it on him. I'm gonna make him help with that. So, and we're gonna get it done, so.
I would ask for anybody that's in the fire service, and I'll let you be the point of contact, if they've got ideas, that we need to get ideas to Mr. Smith over here at school district.
Yes, sir.
that can build up that curriculum. Any ideas would be good.
Well, I hired 2 out of the system, one out of Anderson and one out of Oconee at Seneca when I was there. And both of those are still currently with Seneca, and I'm gonna tell you, great firefighters. You're not gonna get everybody out of that system that's gonna go, but if you get 3 or 4 out of that system to volunteer or to come over to the full-time staff at some point, it's a huge success, huge success. As most of y'all know, volunteerism has fallen off nationwide. It's not a county epidemic, it's a national epidemic. And one of the things we need to work on is how do we help it with us? How do we make it better here? The county doesn't have the funding to go full-time all the way across the county, so the volunteers play a huge role in that every day. They're a huge part of that backbone of the fire service. Being a volunteer all my life, I just remember every time we sit around and tell stories, it's about fires. I'm not gonna kid you, I love going to fires. If I didn't, I wouldn't be up here after 44 years. Everybody that's in this room that does this, do it because they love it. We love helping people, we love doing that. When we sit around and tell stories, it's always about a fire, it's always about something. That's the family part of it, that's what makes us get up and come back and do this. And we're losing that every day when we're not working hard to try to get the volunteerism back up or keeping the staff from rolling over every 2 or 3 months. And we gotta figure out how to keep that going. Again, the volunteers have been the biggest part of this county forever. I mean, years ago, there were no paid people, so if it wasn't for the volunteers, there would never be a fire put out. So, we can't lose that, but I don't wanna lose the history of what we already have with some of the departments in this county today. So we gotta work really hard to keep that history going, because if we lose it, it's not coming back. I mean, we just tell stories about it, but it won't come back. So we're gonna lean really hard on what we can do to try to get some volunteerism back up, try to keep some people motivated and going. And I think if we do that, we'll be successful, for a number more years to come. I know things are gonna change. We're gonna see things change with some stations, and other stations will get better and some stations may not do. But we're gonna do everything we can to try to make it better. And I think we don't have a choice. We gotta work hard on it. So, because I can tell you now, on our side, we can't do it without them. And I think that we just gotta put the effort in to try to make it better. So, and I'm excited about it. We're gonna see. We'll see what we can do. But we're starting off on a good foot, and, so far, we're gonna see how we go down the road. So, but thank y'all.
Thank you. Last on the agenda today is the Fire Service Advisory Commission update, and that's from Commission Vice Chair Larry Wilkerson.
Thank you for the opportunity to come here, and if I mess up the title, it's just because I've known you so long, so I appreciate y'all letting me come. Everything I got on my list to talk about has already been talked about, so I'm just gonna kind of pile on to what they've already said. So, budget items, they mentioned budget items, and the Fire Commission asked for several things to be added to the budget, and it was presented by, Chris Smith and Scott Smith. Again, titles, I'll figure them up, but they presented them here to the Budget and Finance Committee, a while back. So on those, I'll just quickly go over them, is, to include everybody that's on the roster in the, insurance for ambulance and helicopter. And so that was added. Return to the emergency notification system. We on a program called Responder now. A lot of folks are having difficulty with it, so return to Active 911 app, that's been added. Increase the funding to independent agencies. I tried to look back today and prep for this meeting. I couldn't find exactly when we went to for the fire departments at 60,000 per year, but it's been a long time. I'm guessing 12 years or so we hadn't had an increase in it, and like Richie said, the price of everything is skyrocketed. Fire trucks, and we're not buying fire trucks out of this, but they've gone up close to 100%, and turnout gear, same deal. So all that stuff's gone up drastically. So our funding not going up doesn't. And I know Chairman Durham, it said something about at one of the meetings about maybe there needs to be some type of way to figure out how this department deserves it more than that department. The expenses there, if you got 10 people, 15, 20 people on the roster, it costs the same amount of money to outfit them and keep them up. So there's not a lot of difference whether you run 100 calls or 150 calls. Also, to ensure the funds is earmarked for many, many years in the 20 fund, that's the 2.9 mils, to provide money for incentive to the volunteers. And so that money, I won't say it was diluted, but it was being used for some other things. So those things have been moved out, put under separate line items, and to clean that up where that money truly is going to be. And that goes back to, Richie was talking about recruitment and retention. It's an issue for paid and volunteer. And so hopefully that type of incentive, if we can make it a true incentive where folks will stay around. And then one you talked about is fire programs at high schools. I appreciate you doing that, and I'd like to talk to you on one-on-one at some point about that. So it's passed it to me, and I'm going to get on soapbox here. I got 2 volunteer members. They're juniors in high school. They're graduating this time, or have graduated. One actually lives across the county line, lives in Anderson County. Anderson County Schools put him completely through. When he got out of school, he's got his firefighter 2, he's got his medical and first responder. Took it to school. I got another one lives in Oconee County. He's got his firefighter too, and he's in the EMT class, but he's had to do it all night times and weekends on his own time. His own money, well, departments help pay for this per diem type stuff, but, so he had to do that out of school. Now, like Richie said, a lot of these kids I say kids, the students coming out of Anderson schools, they are offered jobs as soon as they graduate. And so whether they being offered jobs or whether being volunteers, or hopefully both, it's only a benefit that where this, how many names did you say, 1,800 is on the door? I mean, where we can stop that from happening, where we can stop the volunteer departments from getting to where they can't manage staff. So what you're saying is excellent. We got to have it done. Radio system issues, it's just a big dead horse. Tommy, you mentioned about the radios, but you're right, it is becoming a safety issue. I kind of laugh when folks talk about safety issues, but if you get a Mayday or something like that, nobody hears you. And I noticed in the last several weeks, things have just taken a drop for the worse. Dispatch is repeatedly going, well, what'd you say? And so it's devolving, the system's devolving, and I'm not sure why. And so hopefully we can get support behind it to get that corrected. Holly Springs, just to update, the chairman wanted to mention this. Holly Springs has gotten their FDID number, that'll be official soon. And I believe the county sent them their lease today, maybe, they got it today. And so it's in progress. And then staffing, just the same thing with, fire commission's looking to get the staffing chart so we can review it and see if there's any type of advice we can provide, because that's what the ordinance for the commission says, to look over things, try to give advice back to staff to see if there are any improvements or potential improvements. So we're waiting on that so we can see what it is and if there's any advice we can come up with as a group. Right? Any questions?
No, sir.
None at all?
I think in the past, y'all have had some trouble getting information, but I just, want to reiterate, y'all are an advisory committee. So, for them to advise us, they need information. So we need to make sure that we're getting them what they need in that respect in a timely manner, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry. That's all the discussion items we had on the agenda today. I'd like to thank everybody that came up and spoke. This entire council, we're 110% behind you. We're 110% behind fire protection, EMS, law enforcement, public safety in a nutshell. Without public safety, you don't have a county. And it becomes a Wild West, and we can't have it becoming a Wild West. So I just appreciate y'all's services and what you do for the county and the communities you live in. I know I don't want to be a firefighter. I worked with Larry for a long time, and up at the nuclear station, we had a fire brigade up there. And there's folks that love to fight fire, and there's folks that don't like to fight fire. And I was one of the latter. I did it, but there was aspects of it I just did not like the burn building and the maze and such as that. So I made it through it, but I'll leave it to the professionals. So with that, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?